welcome everybody to another episode of Locked In Golden State Warriors podcast. I'm Brandon Ferino. Joined by me is my co-host Jordan Medeiros, and as always, we have our special guest Cory, Mr. Sports Fanatic himself, and Mr. Bashar, 49er minded himself. How we doing, fellas?
All right. How
Excellent. Doing good. Can't wait for tomorrow, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and start off, gentlemen. We're gonna preview Game 1 tomorrow, the finals, first NBA Finals at Chase Center. What are we expecting from the Warriors, and what do we need to see to be able to pull off this game? Cory, let's go with you first.
Well, I think there is a handful of variables here. The obvious one is the depth comparison. You're looking at a Boston team that's probably about 7, maybe 8 deep. You are looking at I just lost my train of thought there for a second. You're looking at a team that's going to try to slow the tempo down as much as possible. And I think a big reason being is because of the lack of depth. If they allow Golden State to run, and I mean run, and play their tempo, they're going to be gassed by the second half, and the Warriors are just going to have a field day. Boston's biggest concern here is going to be trying to force the Warriors into as many mistakes as possible. They have their three big scorers in Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart. They also have Al Horford. They have the two Williams, and they have maybe another bench player in there that might be able to do anything. The Warriors are going to be able to throw every combination down. You're looking at all these different links of comparing the two teams, who has the advantage here and there. And you ask any Boston fan, I actually know a couple of Boston fans, I said, how are you going to win the series? They said, our defense is superior. I said, well, hold the phone there. No, you're not. You were better than us defensively when Draymond Green went out for the 20 whatever games that he was out for. But the Warriors were the number one team in defensive efficiency before he went out. The Warriors are a legitimate 10, 11, maybe 12 deep. They're going to be able to mix and match. You're going to have Jordan Poole coming off the bench. You're going to have Gary Payton now coming off the bench, Otto Porter coming off the bench, Bjelica. If they end up bringing in the young guys like Moses Moody, maybe a little bit of Kuminga, Boston is going to have to force as many turnovers as humanly possible, force the Warriors into a jump shooting type of game throughout the series, and cut those backdoor cuts down as much as possible. It's going to be one of those things that to me is going to be very, very difficult to sustain that in a 7-game series. And on top of that, the Boston Celtics are going to have to find a way to put up more than 100 points a game. There's just no way you're going to be able to stop this juggernaut of a team that's essentially cruised through the playoffs. The Memphis series was a little touchy, but they handled Denver very seldomly. I think they gave Denver one game. They came into the Western Conference Final where they knew Boston was overmatched. Dallas was overmatched. Boston is going to have to force mistakes. They're going to have to try to slow the game down, keep the possessions to a littlest amount as possible. We'll get into the predictions here in a little bit, I'm sure. But it's really the lack of depth for Boston and forcing the Warriors into as many turnovers as possible and winning the rebound game. They are a bigger team. They're a more physical team. They have to out-rebound the Warriors, and they have to out-rebound the Warriors in dramatic fashion here, I think, to win this series.
Bashar, you have anything to add off of that?
Yeah, I mean, see, my thing is this, though. I mean, are the Celtics really going to go with that big lineup that they normally go with? Because if they do, I just think we're just going to kill them, especially at home. I mean, who's that guy they have next to Horford? I just had his name on my head.
Robert Williams?
Yeah, Robert Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to go with that lineup, I think we should just use the depth lineup on them. I'd love to see that, And then even with Kuminga out there, I think we can outrun those guys if Kuminga fills in from time to time. I'd love to see an up tempo in this game, and it just kills me when I watch certain Warrior games, especially the Mavs series, where we won those games, we won certain games, but there were times where the Mavs, of course, Luka is probably the best in the league, or maybe next to LeBron, at dictating the tempo of the game. But there again, the beauty of this is Wiggins is not going to have to worry about riding, defending a guy that's going to have the ball in his hand the whole time, who does dictate the tempo of the game, So in Tatum, that is. So I don't know, man. I know, like everybody's trying to scare us with this whole Celtics and their dominant defense and all that, but we just have so many horses. Corey keeps saying it. A lot of people are saying it. It's just, other than that stupid thing that ESPN put out, that stat, that computer stat that said that, it's an 86% chance of the Celtics winning the finals versus the 14% chance of the Warriors. It's like, I do not see it, by the way. And I'm not even just saying that because I'm a Warriors fan. I think we're the better team. We're way deeper. It's way faster, and they have size, but I still think we can match up with them.
Size and physicality. It's really the only advantage I give Boston in this entire series. Coaching, no way. Bench, no way. Shooting, no way. If the Warriors end up going into a dry spell where they just can't hit a shot, the lid is on the basket, that type of thing, I can see Boston keeping these close. Boston is going to have to put points on the board. And I think Boston is underestimating the greatness of this defense. Wiggins is going to be on Tatum like crazy. When Peyton comes in, Marcus Smart's not going to be able to get a shot off. And then you have Clay and you have Curry out there. You bring in who's there. You have Draymond pretty much controlling the entire front court there. Boston's going to have to play near perfect, I think, to make this a series. I really, really do. And not trying to jump ahead here too far. Boston needs a split. Boston loses these first two games, you might as well call it quits. And again, I was trying to look up the stats and stuff. I know Boston has a better road record in the playoffs than home record.
7-2.
7-2.
Yeah.
Well, the Warriors are undefeated at home, so something's going to have to give.
Again, they're 6-0 after a loss too. So
6-0 after a loss, fine. You throw all that out the window. I mean, you were talking about game 5 in the Western Conference Final there, where Dallas was supposed to win because of a particular analytic. You can throw all of it out the window. Boston does not have the depth to match us. If the Warriors shoot anywhere close to 45% and up, Boston, it's going to be a long series for Boston. I mean, that's just the long and the short. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm trying to figure out some scenario here where this turns into a series. I really am. Boston has the physicality. They have some size, but we said that with Memphis. Memphis was more physical than us. Memphis had more size than us. We out-rebounded them 5 of the 6 games. That can't happen if you're Boston. Boston's going to have to figure out how to score, how to slow the tempo down as much as they possibly can, and be able to figure out a way to stay in these games. They have to get a split here. They have to. But again, coming back to Boston, even 1-1, they're going to have to win both of those games. All the pressure here is on Boston to keep this as close of a series as possible.
I agree.
Exactly.
Corey, go ahead.
So, of course, I'm sure you agree that the only way the Warriors lose any of these games is if they beat themselves, right? Pretty much.
The Warriors will lose this series. If the Warriors lose this series, it's because of your unexcusable turnovers. You're looking at 16. I would say 16 and up. We were talking about this throughout the Western Conference run. Keep it around 12. Here, you want to keep it around 12 to 15. But it's going to be points in transition. It's going to be second chance points. It's going to be just the rebounding, and it's just going to be forcing Boston to be as uncomfortable as possible. But again, the key here is tempo. If they can run and just tire this team out, they don't have the horses. Exactly what I was saying earlier. They're 7 deep, maybe 8 deep. If Steve Kerr wanted to, he could play 12 guys. Yeah. He's not going to, but he could play 12 guys in a game and say, okay, Udoka, what's your name? I mean, this is going to be a series of like chess. I'm going to make a move. You're going to have to try to counter it. Boston does not have enough counter moves to sustain this. They're going to have to figure out a way to shut down Curry, then figure out if Clay gets on double, whatever they're doing. They're very, very physical. They have a very good defense, especially on the perimeter, and they're going to have to keep those backdoor cuts to a bare minimum because, the Warriors, the ball movement is a thing of beauty. Now, Boston moves the ball as much as anybody, but the Warriors' defense is going to lock them down. And when they get those steals and they get those turnovers, they're going to be running back the other way, doing everything they possibly can to tire out that starting five. When they do that, they're going to have guys like what's the other Williams called? Essentially the three guys that they have there. You won't see Tyson this series. He's too slow. He's big. What Bashar was mentioning earlier, I don't see a scenario where the bigs are going to play a huge factor outside of maybe rebounding. That's it. They don't have the scoring. You're looking at somewhere around 100 points a game, I think, in the playoffs for Boston. I have to double-check the stats. I'm not 100% on that. But the Warriors, you're looking at the stat comparison. I just don't see a scenario here unless Boston really frustrates the Warriors enough to put turnovers in and get those extra possessions and slow the tempo down as much as they can. Warriors are just going to get out and run. And if they are hitting their shots, but I don't know Boston if they have an answer. They can hit some threes here and there. I think the trick here is going to be trying to feed the Williams and the Horfords down there. But I'm very curious to see in isolation if Wiggins can just kind of sustain Tatum. I would probably put someone like Draymond on Jaylen Brown, or maybe put Clay on there. Again, I know Clay doesn't quite have the lateral movement that he once did, but I think he can slow him down enough. Boston, they haven't been here. Warriors have been here, Steph, Clay, Dre, and Looney were there 3 years ago. We have all the championship pedigree that we need on this team, and then a bunch of young guys that are just going to go into, keep the flow going. I find it very hard for Boston. I see all this comparison, all this stuff. This is going to go 7 games. I hope it goes 7 games. I don't see it. If the Warriors end up holding ground and winning the first 2 games, this series is over in 5. If Boston can find a way to split, I see this series being done in probably 6. Because I see them going back to Boston, splitting there, coming back to out here to San Francisco for Game 5, tied 2-2. Warriors are going to win Game 5. Does Boston have enough to force a Game 7 in their home crowd? Again, Boston does not have the home court advantage here. They, even at home, they do not. They've been a better road team. But you get the craziness out here. It's almost like the Oracle. It's younger. It hasn't been around as long. These fans are fired up, and they're ready to grab the flag again. Stand on top of the mountain in front of everyone and said, "Yeah, we're back." And what are you going to do about it? Because this future going forward after the season looks very, very bright.
So what's the status on Gary and GP2? Because I've been hearing from a lot of people that
they're
he's
all
questionable.
Gary
All questionable.
Second.
So how about Otto Porter Jr.?
Questionable.
They were all in practice. They are all there. I would love to see GP2 out there tomorrow. I would love to see Otto Porter out there tomorrow. The horses are. If we get these horses back, it's
GP2 would be so nice. That'd be such a breath of fresh air.
Just slow down. Just slow down, Marcus Smart. I can guarantee you he will.
Hey, Brandon.
Marcus. Well, real quick, Marcus Smart is questionable as well.
Questionable as well. He'll play. He's just on the injury report.
I'm just gonna look at that. I have a couple questions if I can.
Go ahead.
So, who do you think will be the X factor in Game 1? And I'll go to Brandon first.
I think it's going to be Steph Curry. If Steph Curry could start off hot, I think the rest of the Warriors could follow through, especially Clay. And I think you see Jordan Poole go off Game 1 as well.
Bashar?
Yeah, I was gonna. He stole my thunder just a little bit. It's all good. We all take from each other, and we all have similar ideas about the team. I get it, but It's long overdue for Jordan Poole to break out and have a big game. If Jordan Poole has the game in game one where he's the leading scorer, it might not surprise me because it's just I'm waiting for him to have the games that he was having earlier in the playoff run. I love his excitement. I love his energy. He's not that good of a defensive player, but the way he can take it to the hoop and drive around people and do those reverse type layups, and then obviously we all know about his 3-point shooting. He's like Steph Curry's little brother, but just a taller version. Steph Curry's taller little brother, but yeah, it'd be nice to see Jordan Poole out in the mix and rock their world, man. I'd love to see it, man.
Cory?
You guys like to cop out as much as humanly possible. Steph Curry, Steph Curry, Steph Curry, Steph Curry. Not a bad answer, but I'm going to actually go Kevon Looney.
Curry, baby.
I'm actually going to go Kevon Looney, and this is why. If they can feed Looney and he can get his rebounds and get his 15 or 20 points and really discourage. The other thing is the Warriors, it's not uncommon for the Warriors to have 5 or 6 guys in double figures. I can guarantee you Boston will not have 5 or 6 guys in double figures. It's not going to happen. They're going to need Jason Tatum and Brown, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to play over their heads because those are going to be the 2 guys. And you have Marcus Smart and you have Al Horford there. I get it. 10, 12, 15, 18 rebounds. I'm not even necessarily looking at keeping the ball on that side of the court for as much as possible. It's going to be a long series for Boston. I really believe that. Now, the way, everything is going to be called and everything else, how things are going to go, the Warriors just have to play their game. Jordan made the point earlier. Warriors don't beat themselves. It's going to be a very, very long series for one Boston Celtics here.
Yeah. So another question I had was, how important is it for the young guys getting to play in the finals for the first time, like Poole, Kuminga, Moody? How important is it for them getting to play alongside these vets going into the future, of the team? Bashar?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always about the young rookies that we have. I love our rookie class and our sophomore guy, James Wiseman. I wish he was around and playing, but they're kind of coddling him and babying him, and I get it. They want to save him. But yeah, I mean, I think it. I know they're not going to give Kuminga and Moody heavy minutes, but who knows? Every now and then there might be a wrinkle in a certain game where we do see those guys in there, and if Kuminga or Moody may get the hot hand, hey, maybe you see an extended 15 minutes for one of those guys. They both play excellent. They both play pretty good defense. They both have really long arms. Moody's not, he's an okay athlete. He's got a nice 3-point shot. Obviously, he's known for his defense, and Kuminga is just a freaking, genetic freak, I think, in my opinion. And I think he has Kawhi Leonard possibly type potential. I'd love to see him get extensive minutes and every now and then if possible. And it would be great for their development. And I just have high hopes for the Warriors beyond the Stephen Curry, beyond the Klay Thompson, beyond the Draymond Green years. I like like Jordan Poole and Kuminga and Moody and Wiseman, all those guys. And who knows, they may pick up another guy to fit along with him in the future. So yeah, it'd be nice to get them. They don't need to force it though. We're really good, in terms of our depth and our veterans in general. But hey, it would be definitely nice to see those guys in the mix.
Cory?
I think you will see a heavy dose of Jordan Poole for sure. I think it's just going to be how the game, the flow is. If the Warriors are up big, I think you will see some heavy minutes from a Moody, maybe a Kuminga. Maybe even Bielitsa. I know he's not the young the young rookies and stuff. He's kind of a seasoned veteran. I think has had a little bit of playoff experience going into this season. But the other point I forgot to mention is if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm going at every one of those Boston starters. I want those Boston starters to get into foul trouble as quickly as possible. You put Horford in a blender and you start putting him in, you get the 3 or, maybe hopefully 4 fouls here in the first half because they don't have the depth. They don't have the horses, as we've been mentioning and everything throughout this, to really be able to handle the quickness, the versatility, the outside shooting, and everything else. We will see what this team is made of. and we will see kind of what Udoka wants to do. But if the Warriors can get away and get a little aggressive here and start trying to feed it and start, trying to draw contact and get these guys into foul trouble early, it's gonna make Udoka's job even that much harder. But I think you're going to see more Moody in this series for some odd reason. I think he deserved it after at least that last game, game 5 in Dallas. But I would like to see Kuminga in there, and you will certainly see Kuminga if, say, Looney or Draymond ends up getting into foul trouble a little bit early. The wingspan on both of those kids are just astronomical. I think Kuminga's at 7 feet, and Moody, I think, is even at like a 7'1". So it's going to be a very interesting series, but the Warriors just have to play their game. If the Warriors, if Boston can't disrupt the flow of this game, which they're going to do everything they can to do, I think this series can end in 5 for sure.
Brandon?
Repeat the question again.
So how important is it for the young guys getting to play in the finals for the first time? How important is it for them to play along, these vets in the future of the team?
I think it's pretty important. I think them getting a little taste of championship like DNA is pretty awesome, and I think also too is this is not the only season that the Warriors are going to be contenders. I think we still have a good couple years with this team, so just being prepared and knowing what it feels like to be on the big stage, I think it's pretty awesome for the young ones. Also, I want to point out too is Andrew Wiggins. This is his first time on the big stage as well. So he says he's feeling butterflies. So I'm excited to see him on the court as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see for sure. And like we keep saying, this team has championship DNA. The Boston Celtics do not, and the fact that the media is saying Boston's gonna win this series is beyond me. But yeah. I love that our team stays proving the media wrong.
Stays ready. Yeah.
All that East Coast bias mess that we
Don't forget ESPN's based in Connecticut, so that tells you a whole lot.
ESPN's own Kendrick Perkins stays hating on us.
The ogre.
Yeah. So since we spoke on injuries, Iguodala seems like he's probably going to play in the finals. Mm-hmm. Do you guys think he'll be a factor?
Yes.
Cory?
I think he can. I wouldn't expect to see him more than maybe 10 or possibly 12 minutes. That back, you just never know. I mean, it can come out, but just to give just some more defensive reserves there. Boston's going to have a hell of a time scoring. I think their best chance is to just try to work it down low and get easy layups and dunks and within 5 feet. If they try to get into a shooting contest with us, it's just bad news. But Iguodala, can just lock you down, just like Gary Payton, just like Andrew Wiggins, just like Draymond Green. I'll even put Klay Thompson in there. They're just going to slow him down. Otto Porter is another one. I think he's such an underrated defender. I keep repeating myself here. I just don't see a scenario here unless the Celtics can really take the Warriors out of their game, forcing turnovers. We've seen it in the playoffs so far where they're turning the ball over 20 to 24, 25 times. That can't happen. We don't want to give Boston any extra possessions here. We want to just play our game, our tempo, and really just put Boston on their heels as much as we can.
Yep.
Bashar?
Sorry, I was doing a whole bunch of things.
You're good.
You're talking about Iguodala, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have too much to say. I mean, the guy has had a pretty odd season. I mean, he came out he came out of the breaks early in the season, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, the old school Iguodala's back," because we saw him still able to do his fun dunks and bringing the energy to the team, and looks like his defense is still there. And but lo and behold, he got hurt, and he was golfing the multiple for most of the season. I guess he was golfing, and then he even had a point in the season. I forgot exactly when he did it or said it, but he actually kind of made a rant, and it was like a stab at the GM at the front office, because what he was basically saying was that the GM in the front office, whoever, weren't making moves to bring in a veteran or some veterans to help boost Steph and Clay and Draymond and himself to the next level to possibly make a run for the finals this year. And lo and behold, we didn't trade away Wiggins. We didn't have to trade away Wiseman. We didn't have to trade away Kuminga. We didn't have to trade away Moody. And I was hearing all those rumors of like Wiseman and Kuminga. I pumped those guys up a whole lot. I was hearing rumors about those guys possibly being in the mix of a trade for a veteran. And each and every time I was telling people, no. And I'm so glad that they stuck to their guns. They did not, even though Iguodala, was pretty adamant about wanting to get those veterans in, to make a trade for a big veteran. I don't know who they had in mind, but maybe you guys might know, but I forgot. But anyways, it's like I'm so as much as I love Iguodala, I'm so glad they didn't follow with us the best because what's up, Dion? I see Dion, I see Elias, I see Amin the Dream in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I love Iguodala, but I lost my hopes for him in terms of him actually being a contributor this season. But who knows? Maybe they have him on the back burner to contribute in these finals. They keep throwing around these rumors that he's going to play in the finals, and if he does, it'll be huge because we all know that even though he's not the younger spring chicken that he was against LeBron the first time we went to the finals, I still think he could contribute. A lot of people still praise his defense, and hey, how many games? 5 or 6 games, maybe, and that's how I'm looking at this series. And I think, and he's not going to be stressing and playing 30 or 40 minutes. Hey, give him little 10-minute spurts, 15 minutes, or whatever, and hey, man, maybe he could give us a boost, especially on defense, and get those fast breaks going and maybe get a few dunks. Who knows, man? I'd love to see it, though.
And the most important thing about Iguodala is he's coaching the young guys while he's sitting on the bench. So he's still important to the team.
Yep.
So even if his play is kind of, downgraded. But how about you, Brandon? Do you think he'll be a factor?
Yeah, I think once he's in, his defense is gonna help tremendously. Me personally, he still has on the defensive side. You saw a couple games from him during these playoffs before he went out injured, looking good on defense and everything. So it's gonna be interesting to see for sure. Just having Iggy in there and GP2 and Otto Porter, it's gonna make a complete difference. And I don't think the Warriors are gonna struggle as much as they did last series with the turnovers and everything. So especially defensive wise, because that's 3 defensive players that are gonna help tremendously in this game, especially against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Al Horford for sure.
Okay.
Just real fast, man. I want to go off of what I think Bashar just said it. Or no, it was you, Jordan. Andre explains the message he's been sharing with Kuminga and Moody. Just kind of want to play that real fast.
For sure.
And
go ahead, man.
I was just going to say really quick. Shout out to the Game Podcast. Yeah, it's easy. The downside of having ego, his hitting is really all there. Every now and then, but he's not very good to have out the
Yeah.
One is, as a veteran and mentor that you are, what do you hope Kuminga and Moody get out of an experience like this early in the stage of their career? Because it's rare that 2 lottery picks have made the finals in their first year.
Yeah, well, we expect kids to just take the world when we say they're supposed to. You know what I mean? Like they're 19-year-old kids. Historically, they aren't supposed to take on everything that comes with being in the finals. Like they're supposed to be on college campuses, learning about themselves, learning who they are as people, learning what they like, learning what they don't like, instead of, each guy's making, $5+ million a year. He's got all the pressures of the madness of having money and being in the spotlight. And then you can become jaded, and then you can start taking these things for granted. And it's not their fault. I'm guilty of it, just being in the finals so many times where I feel nothing. I just know it's my job to go out and win. So, there's really no joy in it. It's just going to work and trying to get them to understand, like, you really want to just soak up everything that is here. Like, take pictures. Like, I have some finals I went to, I have no memorabilia. I don't even remember it. And I look back and be like, I wish I would have did this or I would have did that. So just kind of giving them feedback there. They both work hard. They both put in the work, but just making sure that they enjoy the moment and understand that this isn't a given. And it's really, really hard to get here.
Too quick.
I gotta say it again for Deion's sake. All I was saying was that sorry for that.
I heard echo too, to be honest.
I heard it in my ear too. It was killing my ear. But I was just saying, he was saying that he's a monster on both sides of the ball. And the only downside to that is that his shooting when he's on the court, he's not he'll get in his funk where he just throws up a lot of bad shots, and he's a streaky type shooter. That's
he's better in the paint. So
yeah. Oh yeah, he's much nicer. I'd rather have him penetrate and try to post people up or do whatever that way.
So since go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just gonna ask. I muted my mic. Did that help at all, or was that still echoey?
I still heard echo. At least I did. I don't know.
Huh. That's weird.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask. Speaking of defense, I guess I'll just say the series. Would you guys rather mix it up, or would you rather see a zone or man to man? Cory.
I don't quite understand why the zone has been there, other than maybe just trying to confuse the opposing team. I think you're going to see a lot of man-to-man here. If Kerr feels like he may want to just try to throw a wrench into something, I think he may end up going back to a zone. But I think up front, I think in game one, if you want my honest opinion here, I think man-to-man, switching over, for some double teams maybe. But I think both teams, are going to be playing a lot of man-to-man in this series.
Bashar?
Yeah, I'd rather see man-to-man. For some reason, in that stupid Dallas series, well, we won. We had that one game when we were playing zone. It seems like we kind of fell apart and let the team get hot. And I just like our defense better when we go man in general.
Yeah, I'd rather see man-to-man too, just because when they play zone, sometimes they leave a guy open and boom, they hit a three. So, Brandon, same with you, man-to-man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say man to man. Like Deion said, he said, I feel like if Iggy is healthy, you can go man. Especially with GB2 out there again, man to man's gonna be 100% helpful as well, especially going up against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Deion also said, honestly, on Boston, you got to worry about Smart. He's their best defensive player, which is true. I mean, they're going to have to watch out for Marcus Smart because he's actually been kind of elite, especially on defense, including that Miami series. Elias says Jordan Poole is a beast.
Yeah.
Deion says Iggy, GP2, Draymond, they have no hope. Boston, that is.
Good job, Deion. I was wishing one day you could be a 49er fan, but
this guy.
Hey, Andre Iguodala is a 49er fan, by the way. No, I mean, my bad. I would say Niner. I'll say the Deion be a Warrior fan. My bad. But Iggy's a Niner fan.
So actually, bringing this up, Draymond actually said in the media today too that nobody has beaten the Warriors when they're fully healthy, and that's a great point to bring up. The Warriors are fully healthy. I guarantee you, all three injured players are playing Game 1 tomorrow.
You're guaranteeing that? That's a hell of a guarantee.
Putting money on that, Brandon?
Yeah, I am.
Oh man. Well, if that's the case, Boston really is in trouble.
Yeah, exactly my point. So I think
they're really in trouble because the depth just gets even deeper.
Yeah, if they're all playing, it's
Yeah. So I
No
mean,
chance.
it's like I said, Warriors 100% healthy. Nobody has a chance, man. I really like. I mean, it's just
In
point blank.
theory, in
Period.
theory, in theory.
It'll come down to how the Warriors play, though. Again, as I
Yeah.
mentioned before, if Boston can force them into a bunch of turnovers and just mistakes and everything else, this could be a series. I mean, the long and the short of it is, I don't think Boston has enough scoring to handle it. They're a defensive-minded team. They go out and they try to force into a lot of the mistakes, and that's kind of where the chess match is. What is Odoko going to do? And I mentioned this also. What does Odoko do if a couple of their players start getting into foul trouble? Are you going to just try to run them, or are you going to have them sit? And then when they sit, is the few bench players that they will be playing, are they going to be able to sustain a lead or sustain the deficit enough where the Warriors don't run out of the gym like they used to do in third quarters?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
the advantage that Steve Kerr has is, if something's not working, he can always change up his lineup and throw in another player. And it's not a major drop off in talent, to be honest with you. The Celtics don't necessarily have that option in my opinion.
I've
They don't
said this in series past, not the last 2 seasons, but the 5 straight. And I think I mentioned it even on one of your podcasts. The Warriors' second team could start in at least a quarter of the association teams. I mean, they're really that deep. You have a Jordan Poole, Iguodala, Otto Porter, Bielitsa's in there, Juan Toscano Anderson,
GP2.
maybe throw GP2 for sure, maybe Damian Lee at some point. And then, we haven't even mentioned Kuminga and Moody, who are the least experienced of everybody. Iguodala's been in how many finals? He's won 4 or 5. He's starting to turn into the modern version of Robert Horry, playing on different teams and winning multiple championships. I mean, it's crazy. Udoka's going to be he's going to be in check quite a bit, if I can use a chess term. Curry's going to keep firing and firing. Say, okay, this lineup isn't working, or this combination isn't working. Let's try this. What is Udoka going to do if something like that is happening? The defense for Boston is going to be everything here. If they can slow us down, if they can force mistakes, maybe. But I don't see this going past 6. I just don't.
We also have 2 more players, and that's Chiosa and Witherspoon. But
That's true.
they don't play, so
Witherspoon and Chiosa do not count.
That's like 14 and 15.
Yeah.
We're talking
Exactly.
10, 11.
They might as well be in the G League.
So they're 7, maybe 8.
they're 2-way, right? So
Just real fast, I was watching the locker room rant yesterday. Breezy was on the show with JV and the rest of the crew.
He's a Boston fan. He's a Boston fan, Breezy.
And he's a Boston fan. And I ended up commenting on the show saying, Breezy, I'm gonna talk that ish to you, my guy. And he goes, man, I'm upset with Brandon right now. I'm like, hey man, it's all love, I promise. So shout out to Breezy.
It's going to be a harsh reality here in a couple of days, I think.
Yeah.
Just go. We're good. I don't know if we're this good. I mean, the Warriors, they have it. They have that championship pedigree. Your Steph, your Clay, your Draymond, even Looney. Mm-hmm. Looney, I think Looney's going to just ball. I think you're going to just see Looney going crazy. I'm curious to see what Udoka does, trying to contain the big 3 in Steph, Clay, and Poole. I really hope Poole can make it happen here, just to put another wrench into Boston. Just going, what are we going to do? You can stop one. It's a pick your poison when you're playing this team. Who are you going to end up? Who are you going to try to contain? Maybe double team at any given point. They're going to try to outmuscle. I'm hoping the officiating kind of lets a lot of things go. Obviously, things blatant you're going to have to call, but I don't want whistles every possession or every other possession. Just slows everything down. It's the finals. Let them play. Try to get checked. They're never going to be able to get back to that 80s and 90s style, but just let them play a little bit and just let the flow kind of go in and out without Boston being able to catch their breath every damn time there's a whistle blown. Yeah, drives me crazy.
Refs will be a big part.
my main thing is, especially for the finals, is just let them play. That's all I want. Do not call stupid ass fouls. And I'm saying for both sides. I don't want it's the NBA fucking finals for crying out loud. I just want a nice, clean game without any stupid mistakes, stupid fouls. You know what I mean?
You can also wish upon a star, but you know damn well that ain't
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
All
Don't.
about the money.
Yeah. There's gonna be some dumb calls. That's just how it
Oh, hell
is.
yeah.
Muscle
Easily.
us. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. Boston's goal here is just to out muscle, out physical, out rebound everything. They're going to try to put the physicality into this series as much as they can. And I just want the Warriors just to keep running. You know, don't get discouraged. Hard foul here or anything like that. Just keep pushing and put this team in a blender as much as they can.
Put them in a blender, huh? I like that.
Put them in a blender. Crossovers, having them fall down.
Chef Curry.
I am going to mention too that if Draymond wasn't out and Steph didn't go out when he did during the Boston game during the regular season, I think we would have swept him in the season.
Yeah, it was just bad timing for us to play in the regular season. It's just what it was. You know,
I love Boston. Sorry, real quick. I love Boston fans here where the ego gets a little ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
If Draymond doesn't go out, the Warriors finish the season as the number one defensive efficiency team.
Yeah.
Period. And no one is ever going to tell me any different. You want to talk about how great your defense is? We got a hell of a defense over here out west as well. So you have to play as well as you can, and I still don't think that's going to be enough.
Yeah. My thing is that they can have that number one defense stat from the regular season. They can have it all they want. You know, whatever. Because for me, what counts is the second season, which is the NBA playoffs. So,
just trying to make a point there, Bashar. I think the Warriors would have had the number one.
Oh yeah, I got you.
See all the way through.
So real fast. Somebody asked in the media today, this NBA Finals run is different for the Warriors. So I'm gonna play what Steph Curry said on the reason why. So
different as opposed to
the last. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So let me share it real quick.
Yeah, because KD's not there.
In your mind, what separates this run to the finals from the others?
Just the context of the last 4 years, from Game 6 of the 19 finals to now, everything that we've went through as a team, certain guys individually, with injuries, with obviously the pandemic that's happened over the last 2.5 years, like everything that we've all went through. With this as the ultimate goal of getting back on this stage, the chance to play for another championship. Like, you got Clay coming off of unreal rehab journey. I broke my hand. Draymond was injured with a bunch of different stuff. We had a lot of young guys coming into the fold and trying to reclaim our chemistry as a core, but also, get those guys up to speed and how they can help us and help impact winning. And then, you look up and all the work that you put in over the last, 2 years has paid off, built on the experience and the just the veteran presence that we have. So all that stuff is just built into the context of what's happened since, Game 6 of the 19 finals, and we're back here. So it's pretty special.
Is the echo still? I was going to test the echo and see if it was there anymore or not.
No.
Did you guys get the echo at all or no?
No.
No. Well, it happens when somebody
talking.
talks. None of us were talking. We just wanted to play with it and say something for the fun of it.
So, hearing for what Steph Curry said, what do you guys take from it? And what are your thoughts on that whole question and Steph Curry's answer? Bashar, start with you.
Oh man, you hit me with it. Get somebody else on this one, man. I just don't really
Cory.
have anything.
You have any comments? Yeah.
I think the big difference here is their team is a lot younger. yeah, with less experience, if you will. If you look at finals past, you had Barbosas and Spates and Bogats and yearly veterans
Livingston.
were just there.
Mo
Livingston,
buckets.
Mo
Ooh, Mo
Spates.
buckets.
Um,
David Lee,
David Lee was there in the
2015.
first
Yeah.
year. I don't
The first
think
time
it was-
around. The first
yeah,
time around.
first time around. But he was a veteran too. But you have guys like a Jordan Poole, who's first final. Wiggins, who is a veteran but hasn't been to this stage before. Guys like Juan Toscano Anderson, even Damian Lee, even though I don't know how much playing he may get, except maybe in some garbage time if there's a blowout. I just think it's young guys here and being able to get to the finals for the first time, which can also lead into many, many seasons down the road where they now have this finals experience, which is just going to put another notch in their their resume. And so that's kind of the way I took it. Is he mentioned a little bit of the young people, but to me that's the biggest difference. You don't have a whole lot of savvy veterans who have been into the stage before. You have 4, and then obviously Steve Kerr and the coaches. But players and the guys actually playing this game, it's 4 out of 14, 15. So this is going to be a good learning experience. Hopefully the young guys aren't making boneheaded mistakes and stupid turnovers like you tend to see. Just play in the fluidity of the game, play your game, and try to prevent Boston from taking you out of that game.
I want to say a shout out to David Edmondson in the chat from Real Talk Diner Talk.
What's up, David?
Yeah, I'd love to have him on in the future. He's a big Warrior fan as well. He's
What's
really
up,
good
David?
guy.
Hey,
But Dave the OG.
yes, sir. Can you guys hear me, or am I cutting out?
We hear you.
You're okay.
Okay, because it's saying that I'm having issues with.
I hear you just fine. You're good.
All right, so
loading.
all right, so David, we're gonna do a post game tomorrow. After the game, if you want to join, let us know. We'd be glad to have you on. Just to let you know. But I mean, we're gonna close it out here pretty soon. Any other thoughts you guys have before we end it here? Before the game starts tomorrow night.
Yeah, so actually, speaking about the X factor that you guys talked about, that I asked, I have to piggyback on Bashar and Brandon.
Beautiful.
Steph Curry, and here's why I choose Steph Curry. I'm paying attention to him, not just for game 1, but for the whole series, is because we keep hearing, more than ever now about his him earning his Finals MVP. So, I think in order for him to win, he has to be the main standout, I think, in this whole series for how many games they play. He definitely deserves it, but I'm sure he would love to win it so people can stop talking about it and correlate to his legacy, I guess. I don't think he needs it to be one of the elites, but, it'll definitely be interesting to see what he does throughout the series for sure. So even though this is going ahead, do you guys think Steph Curry will win Finals MVP?
That's what I want. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he will or not, but that's what I want.
If the Warriors win this series, I think Curry's going to have to play subpar for him to not win this MVP. I think a lot of people, and I tend to agree, probably should have won it the first championship. They gave it to Iguodala for the defense on LeBron James. Curry didn't play overly exceptional, but again, it was his first time there. He's been there many, many times. This is his 6th finals appearance, which is just insane. So I think if he's playing at his game or even a little bit better, I don't see how they don't, unless a Clay or a Poole or, like I mentioned earlier, Wiggins or Draymond just plays so over their head that they don't have a choice. Everyone just wants to talk. I mean, it's what it is. Is Curry a top 10 player in NBA history? I think he's right on the cusp. I think he could be number 10 or maybe number 11. If he gets the Finals MVP, he's in for sure, and everything else that goes along with it. But I think if the Warriors win this series and he wins his fourth championship, I think it's going to be very hard for him not to win the MVP.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, I think as the game goes, or like the series goes on, I think we will determine on how well he plays and everything, and then go from there. But to piggyback off of that question that Jordan asked, I want to ask you guys, because everybody's been talking about it in the media. Steph Curry wins the finals and gets a finals MVP. Do you guys think that he, what's the word that they use? You think he surpasses LeBron James?
No,
he doesn't surpass LeBron. No. But again, he's a completely different style player too at the same time, so it's not a big deal.
But yeah, he won't pass. No, he doesn't pass LeBron.
LeBron James is just below Michael Jordan. I think he'll surpass, say, like a Shaquille O'Neal. You could make an argument saying, maybe like a Larry Bird in there. Tim Duncan, I think, is kind of on the cusp there. He might be ahead of. I mean, it's all subjective. I mean, it's what is your take and what is your take? There's really no right or wrong answer. It's Jordan 1, LeBron James 2, and then it's pick whoever. You could say Bill Russell because he has 11 championships. You could say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You could say Wilt Chamberlain. You can say, there's a plethora of different players that you could stick in there at number 3. But really, there's no right or wrong answer there. It's Jordan 1, LeBron James 2. You have Kobe in there. A lot of people would say Kobe number 3. I don't. I would certainly put Magic in front of Kobe. But it's all subjective. I mean, there's really no right or wrong here. But I'm curious to see how Boston defends this, and tempo. I want to see what the pace of the game and the series is. If Boston can slow it down enough to try to shrink possessions and keep the Warriors from putting up that 100 plus. 3.5, I think, is the spread. I like the Warriors winning by more than that, especially for game 1. Kind of see how.
If you're betting in Vegas, take that bet.
If you're kind of where you're at on that, but I like the Warriors winning by at least 5 or 6 in this first game for sure.
All right. David says, I think Klay Thompson is the X factor. Smart is on Curry, which, that is going to happen. Smart will be on Curry. Tatum's going to be on Wiggins, but Thompson, there's no answer for offensively or defensively.
So my question is Smart alone going to be able to contain Curry like almost how most teams will try to double him? I think this is kind of where I said in the blender. I think if Curry can get those handles working and try to start confusing Smart as much as he can. Smart was a defensive player of the year this year because Draymond had missed too many games. Draymond would have won that running away, in my opinion. But that's just one guy. You have Horford there. You have Jaylen Brown there. You have Jason Tatum there.
Yeah.
The Warriors are going to be mixing and matching. And then the other thing that hasn't really been said is that the Celtics switch more than any team in the association. So where you might have Smart on Curry up front, there's going to be a lot of screens and a lot of pick and pops and things of that nature. Smart's going to be on him for the majority of the game, but how much switching, and if, say a Horford or a Jaylen Brown is on him, it's a straight mismatch. If the Celtics can figure out a way to keep Smart on Curry may struggle a little bit, but with all the screens and all the pick and rolls and everything else, I think it's going to be very hard for Boston to sustain the Warriors because they can put up
too much.
I mean,
I get tired.
I think that I'm thinking this for Steph, and if it's not the truth, I'd be shocked, and if I'm wrong, I'd be shocked. But something tells me Steph has a bad taste in his mouth when it comes to Marcus Smart and more in a competitive nature. Not that he's going to try to fight or whatever, anything like that. But we all remember Marcus Smart dove on Steph and messed up his foot or whatever. But I just think Steph is going to have an inner fire in him in this series just because of that Marcus Smart injury that happened. And I'd love to see Steph make Marcus Smart work like he was doing in the Dallas series to the other guys, where he was just him running around without the ball is deadly for most teams. So I want to see him make Marcus Smart work his ass off. And if they do switch, whoever else is trying to guard him,
tire Marcus Smart as much as possible.
Steph without the ball is just amazing, So
Yeah.
let's see. And then let me see what's up to Channel 49 is my good buddy of mine from Instagram, huge 49er fan, but he says Marcus Smart, Celtics in 8. Boy, I don't know. 8, there's no way he came series. I don't know what he was saying, but good buddy of mine, though. And say shout out to Cook Smoke Sports. There you go. So what up, bro? Go Niners. I don't know if he's a Warrior fan, but he's just saying what's up, though. So shout out to
He's
you,
a
bro.
Laker fan.
Oh, he's a Laker fan. Okay.
Yeah. Just real fast to go back on my question. This is what I was talking about because I love watching Stephen A. and First Take. It's literally the only ESPN show I really watch. Because Stephen A. always chooses the Warriors. So
Shaq always chooses the Warriors too.
But here, let's go ahead and see what they're talking about here.
I was just telling JJ, Molly, and Stephen A. He got to have my mindset. You got to wake up every morning not to be liked. I wake up every morning for a person not to like me.
We all have our skill sets, Spur.
I don't think that's working. I don't think that's working. We love Big Perk. We love Uncle Perk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think it's working. I really don't think it's working. But that's just me.
All right, Big Perk, let me ask you this. We know the Warriors have acquired a lot of young talent, but obviously their big three, Steph, Clay, Dre, all in their 30s. How long is their championship window?
You know what? I don't see it going past this year. I really don't. I think if they had any opportunity, it's for them to win it right now. I don't see it going past this year. It's no disrespect to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, but it's just it's talking about the growth of the NBA. We watched the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic. We watched them make it to the Western Conference Finals. We know that the Los Angeles Clippers are going to come back next year. When they come back healthy, they're going to be a problem. Giannis Antetokounmpo with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, like teams are going to reload this offseason. We watched the growth of the league. We watch how guys got better, teams got better. And look, I'm not saying the Warriors might not have, they could, but I don't see it. I think this is their golden opportunity to capture another championship right now.
Well, what the hell you think the Golden State Warriors going to be doing? Sitting there and taking pictures? I mean, excuse me. I think they'll make some adjustments as well. I see the Warriors winning 2 of the next 3 titles. That's what I see. I'm thinking about Steph Curry. I'm thinking about Clay. I'm thinking about Draymond, but I'm also thinking about Jordan Poole. I'm thinking about Kuminga. Yes, I'm going to bring up James Wiseman. Yes, I understand he's been out all season long, but the brother's a 7-footer with skills, and I think once you insert him into the equation, with Kevon Looney still there, with Draymond still there, no, I like their chances. I like Moses Moody. I like what I've seen from him. I like Kuminga. I really love Kuminga, actually, okay? I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors being at least 8 deep, and I see this team potentially, I'm not going to even say potentially, I'm willing to say the Golden State Warriors are winning 2 of the next 3 titles. I believe Steph Curry will eclipse LeBron James and capture 5 championships in his career while LeBron is still stuck on 4. That is what I believe will happen.
That's what you're hoping. No, that's what you're hoping can happen. That's what you're hoping that can happen
because let me tell you
no, that's what you're.
I can prove that you're lying. I can prove it. I can prove it.
No, I'm not.
Where's LeBron playing? No. Where is he playing?
He's playing in LA.
And where do I want to be? There's no way in hell I'm rooting against LeBron James. That is false. I want LeBron James. I would love for LeBron James to be in the finals and win championships in LA. Yes, you are completely false. Completely.
No, I'm not. Stephen A., you know one thing about me is that my wife threatened me every day to divorce me because I'm married to the game and I'm married to the TV when it comes down to basketball. And whether that's cable, hold on, listen, hold on, and whether it's cable TV or me watching you on ESPN Plus on Stephen A's World. Okay, you had a discussion. Yeah, you had a discussion. Okay, at one point of this season about Steph Curry and LeBron James and far as with their titles and things to that nature and would he surpass them as far as kind of quote unquote being the iconic figure and things to that nature. See, I know what you're doing here because me and you sit up here and we debate the GOAT conversation all the time. So you can't wait for somebody else to dethrone LeBron James or have more titles while he's still playing, so you can use that argument when it's time for the GOAT. Yeah, so when it's time for the GOAT conversation to come back up, you gonna say, how you gonna compare him to Jordan when Steph Curry done won this many? I already know you. I know you. I know how it goes.
Well, thank you, Swagoo Perkins, because that's what Swagoo tries to say all the time with y'all podcasts, which, by the way, everybody should listen to, okay? The bottom line is it's not working, all right? It's not working. The reality of the situation is clear. LeBron James, in the 4 years he's been in L.A., he's got one title, okay? He's been bounced out in the first round, and he's missed the playoffs twice, okay? So when we talk about, and I'm not throwing any shade on him, I understand it ain't his fault. I understand he's great. I'm rooting for him because I would much rather be in L.A., you know, than going to the Bay Area. That's just a personal preference that I have, JJ. I would much rather be in L.A. than in the damn Bay Area. I'm not that particularly fond of the Bay Area. That's just me, but I love the Warriors. Steph Curry is that dude. And he is chipping at the heels of LeBron James in terms of those titles. I believe he will surpass LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. He will get 2 of the next 3 championships. Steph Curry is going to end up with 5 NBA championships. That is what I believe. Why do you have that look on your face, JJ? Am I off my rocker in saying this, considering the roster that they have and some of the young guys they've got on the come up? Is that beyond the pale?
Okay. First of all, did you guys plan this with LeBron Lakers mention?
No,
that just came up organically.
He did.
That just came. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. We couldn't have a.
Yeah. I wish I could have a word with those guys, but
Straight hater.
Yes, dude.
Straight hater.
Always.
I can't stand him, dude. Every single
He does it
time.
on purpose.
Anyways, what's your take on that, gentlemen? Corey?
Yeah, I think Stephen A. just spits facts and Perkins tries to deflect them as best he can. He's just a bitter former NBA player who felt like he should have had more rings than he did and hates seeing guys like Curry, who's only, listed at 6'3", who's on the precedent of winning his 4th. I think, Jordan, the more appropriate question is if Steph Curry gets 5 before LeBron James, is he ahead of him? It's again, I can't go there. But to your point,
one more thing, but that's Steph doing that with just one team as well.
Right.
True. And he didn't run around and try to build something.
Exactly.
I mean, they brought Durant in for a little bit. I get
also
it.
did it with one team. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it is what it is. Steve Kerr won 3 with the Bulls, one or 2 with the Spurs. So it is what it is. Big Shot Bob won 6 championships with 3 or 4 teams. It's just the way it
Robert
works.
Horry.
Good old Big Shot Bob.
I just feel like that's just like another big thing to point out, especially when you talk about.
I just think Perkins is just a bitter old man who just is upset that he didn't win more championships.
Yeah,
and he's watching Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, on the verge of picking up number 4.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to see his face.
He'll win more championships.
Bashar, you have anything else to add on?
Not really. Corey pretty much said it. Yeah. We don't like Perkins.
It's real. I mean, this series right here is just going to come down to injuries. If the Warriors can stay relatively healthy here, then they would have destroyed Toronto. They would have destroyed them. If Durant doesn't go out,
that was fluky. That was so fluky.
They would have absolutely have destroyed them. 4 games, 5 games tops. But you had Durant going out, and then you had Clay going out.
Cousins, all three.
Yeah, Cousins, they could have done it without him. But the two big ones, in Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, if those two stayed healthy, they would have won that. Durant may have decided to come back for another year. Don't know. They would have probably won another one. Curry could be at 5 right now. Now. I mean, it's crazy. But they're there now. And if the Warriors stay healthy throughout this, meaning Porter can stay healthy here, Iguodala doesn't mess up his back anymore, and I think the most important of all of them, Gary Payton. If that guy, the elbow, is working. Actually, it's the left. The left elbow doesn't flare up or anything. Boston's going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah,
I really believe it. I mean, you're just looking at the schematics, and you're just looking at just on paper. Yeah, Boston has a great defense, but so does Golden State. And Golden State's deeper. Golden State can score. And Golden State has every chess piece that they can maneuver around to just try to frustrate Udoka and Boston. I don't see a scenario here where Boston wins this series. I really don't.
So another thing I wanted to bring up before we head out, I promise we'll head out after this, okay? Draymond the other day said on the podcast that Steph Curry got double teamed probably 7 times the amount that KD did back in the 2019 finals.
Yeah.
And KD responded back saying, from my view of it, this is 100% false. What do you guys say about that?
I'll take this first. It's KD just being bitter because he realized that he made the biggest mistake of his career by leaving this team. He wanted to go and have his team that he was leading, and he ends up bringing in James Harden, and then he ends up bringing in Kyrie Irving, and then James Harden doesn't work out, so they ship him off, and they bring in Ben Simmons, who just sat on the bench the entire. It's an absolute joke of what ended up. It's just a catastrophe.
And Kyrie sitting out half of the season because
he didn't want to get vaccinated. It's selfish. It's just selfish. I mean, that's what I think what attracts so many fans to this team. It's a selfless team. This team here in Golden State, there's no prima donnas. There's no one trying to do anything more than the next person. Look at Brooklyn. Look at LA. Yeah, why LeBron James decided on Westbrook over, say, Kawhi Leonard? If Kawhi Leonard was there instead of Westbrook, we are probably not sitting here previewing the NBA Finals with Golden State in it, because LA would have been a juggernaut like LeBron had in Miami, like LeBron was able to do in Cleveland there the one year that I still think was given to him, winning the last 3, but that's neither here nor there right now. The Warriors are here because of their selfless play. No one tries to do more than anybody else, and it's a conundrum for the rest of the NBA trying to figure out how you can stop this team. The 5 straight NBA championships were not a fluke. It's because they play a certain style that no one else can contend with. That's why they were there year in and year out. And they ended up running into a few little issues, I guess I'll say. The suspension for Draymond Green for Game 5 in 2016 and the 2 catastrophic injuries from Durant and Klay Thompson in 2019. They could have won all 5 of those. And Cleveland's going to say, well, we didn't have Kyrie and Kevin Love in 15. Go ahead. We still beat you in 6. We still beat you even with those guys in there. As young as we were, maybe we lose that one, but we come back the next year and slaughter you. So you can say whatever the heck you want. Cleveland hadn't had a championship since 48. And they haven't had one since. So,
yeah, and they won't in our generation.
Many years. Guardians aren't going anywhere. Browns aren't going anywhere. The Cavaliers sure as hell ain't going anywhere anytime soon. The East is deep, and they're physical. Yeah. So that's my take.
Yeah.
Bashar, you have anything else?
Yeah, it's like funny because I mean this whole super team thing, and just it's not like. I mean, sure, talent in the NBA does mean a whole lot, in my opinion, more so than NFL. More so than the NFL, I think coaching is a bit more, it's more essential, more so in the NBA, in my opinion. But even so, I mean, it's not like you could just throw all these all-stars on one team and just, oh yeah, they're gonna guarantee it's a guaranteed championship. You know, everybody has to be, zoned in and locked in on one goal, and people have to, check their egos at the door. People have to say, hey, I have to be willing to do this role. I used to have the rock in my hand 80% of the game, but hey, I'm only going to have the ball in my hand maybe 50% of the game now, so if those players aren't willing to change, good luck with trying to go to the finals or trying to win a championship. And the Warriors did it the right way when we had Durant. A lot of people were going to question our chemistry and how we were going to make things work, but they made it work well. I mean, the coach, the way Steve Kerr had it mapped out and the way everybody was bought in to the system was great. So, but this championship, in my opinion, is going to feel. It might feel just as good as our first one we won against Cleveland, if not better, if we get it.
That's true.
I'd be willing to bet you that the Warriors, and I don't have the stats in front of me here, but I'd be willing to bet you that the Warriors are one of the least isolated teams playing ISO ball than any team in the association. And that's a problem for the opposition because it's not one guy that you're having to focus on. Luka Doncic in Dallas, with Jamal Murray and Porter Jr. being out, it was all Jokic. How do you defend this team? I mean, what do you do? It's not one guy. It's this guy. If it's not him, it's this guy. If it's not him, it's another guy.
Yeah,
and he's got 3 or 4 or 5 guys on the bench who can do all of that too. What Bashar said earlier, Steph Curry is more deadly without the ball than he is with it. And when he starts moving and starts tiring these defenders out, trying to chase them around all the time, it's crazy. And I have one more question before we close out, but I'll let you guys finish this one.
And I think I hurt my friend's feelings. I didn't know he was in the chat. John V. John V from the locker room rant. Fellow 49er fan from the locker room rant. He's been on our post game before. Awesome dude. Says, "Whoa, Bash, easy, bro." I kind of. He's from Ohio, by the way, so he's a Cavs fan. But awesome.
Right yeah. Read it. JV says the worst Cleveland.
Just another bitter Cleveland fan. That's all. That's all that is.
A genie.
I love it.
And he's got the right football team. Though.
I can't grant.
He does have the right football team because he knows the Browns are one of only 4 teams in the NFL that ever reach a Super Bowl. But again, that's neither here nor there. The question I wanted to pose to you guys, though, is do you think that Steve Kerr and the Warriors have been playing possum with Iguodala? Meaning, do you think that Iguodala could have come back sooner and decided to sit him out because they knew when they had taken the first 3 games against Dallas, said, no, we're just going to sit him out. He's ready to go. To save him, because you've noticed during the regular season he missed a lot of games and everything else. I love you too, John. Just showing you a little bit of love here. Do you think that Iguodala could have come back earlier? I thought just for a while, just with a back, that he may not end up coming back. He's coming back. It looks more and more like he is actually coming back, and now he has the rest. And he's missing games, and that just shows the depth and just how crazy this team is. Their depth and just 9 guys, 10 guys, 11 guys. I don't think Kerr is going to be playing more than maybe 9 or 10 guys in a game. But I'll tell you, it's going to be a very, very tough series for Boston here. But anyway, the question was, do you think Iguodala could have come back earlier if, say, Dallas had pushed it to 2-2 going into like a game 5?
I don't think so.
No.
So it actually wasn't the back; it was the neck.
The neck. Okay.
Yeah.
My neck and my back.
So I don't think so, and I think with him being sitting out
played Moody
and series, I think it gave more push to Moody and Kuminga and everybody. So. And then also too, it's getting Iggy ready for the finals now, to where he is going to be playing game 1 and helping out his squad as well. He had I believe he practiced in full today, so that's a plus as well.
No side effects or anything like that.
No side effects.
The other thing that we should point out is outside of between games 3 and 4, there's 2 days off in between every single one of these games.
Yes.
So that's going to be even more rest for guys like him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to wrap it up now. But before we go, I'm going to do all the formalities. So if you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button, please. I really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers at least. So we really appreciate it for all your guys' support. If you haven't yet already as well, Twitter, go hit that follow button at GSW_podcast. Instagram is spelled all the way out. Locked in GSW podcast. So make sure you hit that follow button. Still growing. twitch.tv/locked in GSW podcast as well. If you haven't yet already. Also, we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio.
SoundCloud.
Any other ones? Google Podcasts.
No, okay.
All the podcasts you find, we're on there.
We're everywhere.
Locked in GSW podcast. Just put that in and you'll find it. If you want to listen to the audio portion of this show while you're driving in traffic or whatever on your way to work, we are there. JV says, all love, fam. We're going to dial it back to the beginning. I can't sleep. Sounds good, my guy. Thank you for tuning in as always. We'll be back here tomorrow night after the game to go over the game. It's going to be a freaking amazing series. I cannot wait for game 1 tomorrow. Until next time, guys. Go Dubs.
Go Dubs.
Go Dubs. Go Warriors. Let's go.
Number 4.